Hi, I'm Paul Camillos. Join me and my co-host Jacinta Gavin for Series 4 of Shooting the Breeze. We cover women's hoops and women in hoops. We talk to inspiring players, amazing coaches, and the legends behind the scenes and at the grassroots of the game. During this series, we'll be covering the FIBA Women's World Cup, where the 12 best teams of the planet are coming to Sydney. And of course, we'll be covering Australia's longest-running women's professional sporting league, the WNBL, in its 43rd season. Hit that subscribe button, like and review, so we can get more hoops content to you. Welcome to Shooting the Breeze. We are live tonight, and it's a whole new experiment for us. First of all, we've got, as always, my co-host Jacinta Gavin, and we've got Sammy McDonald from Albury on as well. Before we get to you, Sammy, just want to touch base with you. Jacinta, you've been doing some stuff. You've been calling some basketball.
Yes, I have. I've been staying up nearly 24 hours between my regular 9 to 5 and then moonlighting as a FIBA commentator. So I've been commentating the under-18 Women's Africa Championship that's happening at the moment in Madagascar. So Wednesday night was the quarterfinals. Last night was the semifinals.
Yep.
And thankfully I have a rest day today. So tomorrow I've got the grand final and the bronze medal match as well.
And who's in those last games?
Oh, so Egypt and Mali, probably, the two strongest teams. So we're kind of predictable. They're going to be in the grand final. And the bronze medal match will be between Angola and Madagascar, the host nation.
All right. So, a few more late nights for you, huh?
Yeah. So by Sunday, because we've got double headers for NBL 1 East as well that I'm commentating, men's and women's. So by Sunday, I would have commentated 12 games in 5 days.
All right.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive.
On paper, yeah. My body, however, struggling.
All right. So let's get into the topic for tonight, the Opals. There's been a lot happening. Big news, obviously. LJ, she's made the team. She's back for the World Cup. Sammy, I'm going to throw it over to you just as a starting point. As the assistant coach for the Bandits, how does that feel knowing that she's come back, played in the NBL 1, had a lot of impact for the team, and now she's through to the Opals again?
Yeah, I think it's just a remarkable story, isn't it? Like comeback kind of story. It's been a privilege for all of us, I think, involved in the Bandits program to see how her journey has gone, from when she first signed with us. The excitement there, the buzz was pretty massive. And then as we got closer and closer to the season, it just kept building. And the around the town, it's phenomenal. Everyone's talking about it. And like, no disrespect to the women's program in previous years, but it hasn't been the main go-to for support in ours. It's always been the men's program. It's been the moneymaker. So to see everyone, we've sold out every home game.
Wow.
Yeah, which is amazing. Normally we'll only sell out for one of our big rivalry kind of games, or a final if we make it. And, every home game this year has been sold out. I know we only have about 50 tickets left for tomorrow night. So it's just, that's the impact of Lauren coming back.
Okay. So for everybody listening, there's 50 more seats left at Albury. Get yourself there for the game.
And we had a nice day today. The weather's turning.
All right. What more could you ask for? CLJ play, 50 seats, great weather, Albury. You're not too far from the wineries down there either.
There are some very good wineries in our area. Don't you worry. We have Hills tomorrow night.
Hills, okay.
Yep.
All right. So, I want to talk a little bit about the Opals because there's a lot of stories going on here. Obviously, LJ coming back. There's a lot. It's been really well recognised. globally, what a big impact this is going to be. There's a lot of other stories, though, that have come to light for the Opals as well. Some new starters in the team. A few people who were unlucky to not make it as well. And there seems to be a really defensive bent to the team. What do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, I agree. I think based on the outcomes of Tokyo and then what we saw at the Asia Cup under Gori with a whole completely different Opals lineup, like featuring a lot of our players who weren't even considered in this like FIBA World Cup squad this year. I think pretty much cemented from that Asia Cup outing. I think defense has always been the key. It was definitely the downfall in Tokyo. And I think with the roster that we're taking to the World Cup in September, we're going to be really tall and really long and very athletic.
Yeah, I agree there. I think it's definitely been the mantra for the team to really make sure that defense will solidify us and then let our offense just come from the defensive end, basically. Some really solid players in there that have had some good seasons. And yes, I agree. There were some good players that really missed out.
Yeah. I mean, I know that the defensive angle is something that Timsy has said on every occasion that she's been on the show. And she's been pretty adamant about that. And I think there's been a lot of really great decisions. I mean, when you think about it, you've got LJ, who's making her 5th World Cup appearance. We've got Beck Allen, Tolo, and Kayla, who are 3rd. Second appearances for Steph Talbot, Sammy, Tess Madgen, and Ezzy. And we've got 4 debutantes. And I think there's a lot to be said about this mix because it means that we're building a team not just for now, but we're also starting to build towards the future as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think there were some players that, despite Tokyo not being the best outcome, had a really good tournament and did a really sort of put themselves forward in a good light. And then that's carried through. I look at Sarah Blixarves. I thought that she had a great Olympics, brings a lot of energy. And then you've got Christy Wallace, who's a great comeback story after, knee injuries and absolutely worked to get back. Had a great WNBL season and then now going really well in the WNBA with Atlanta.
Yeah, her story is really outstanding. And I think it's a story that probably isn't told either well enough or often enough or in enough detail, especially flipping from her first, full WNBL season with the Southside Flyers last season, probably her first full WNBL season in a long time, but then immediately just flipping the script and killing it over in the WNBA. Yeah. Like, I don't think anyone predicted such an acceleration in performance in someone in such a short period of time for Wally. And now she's in the World Cup squad. But I think when you compare as well the Tokyo team to this team going to the World Cup, it is completely different. And I remember, when all of the World Cup stuff started, we were starting to talk about it over the years, and we thought there's people like Katie Ray, Jenna, Leilani, and, that those spots were already up for grabs. And I thought, might be pretty hard to fill those shoes. But then you kind of think, actually, we've got this whole other shed of talent just waiting to step up in those spots. So yeah, it's a pretty good looking outfit. I don't think I would have expected 4 debutantes though.
Yeah, I might. Well, yeah, they're World Cup
not in a bad way.
Yeah, but they're World Cup debutantes. I mean, Sarah has played before. Annalise played before. I mean, literally from walking off a plane. So, yeah, for the competition, it's the case. But I've got to say, what I'm really liking in what I'm seeing here is there's been a really, really solid attempt to try and build a team that's got a lot of depth across the board. And I think that the thing for me is you've got LJ coming in, and she's got, regardless of the position, she's going to be an anchor for this team. There's the experience and the basketball IQ that she's going to have. And I know that she's constantly talking to the team in the NBL 1. So this is somebody who's going to be able to bring a whole nother layer of experience to the squad. And I think it's going to be really important, particularly in some of the earlier games that we're going to be playing in, especially France, straight out of the box.
Yeah, I agree. Particularly touching on how you said talking with the young players and that in our squad, the Bandits in Albury, you know, just to see that the little bits of information, the mentoring role that Lauren has taken with pretty much all our players, you know, just passing on all her experience and then transposing that into an Opals squad with her big game. Of World Cups now, the Olympics, 4 Olympics, and there's always that 2006 gold medal, World Championships, you know. That's just knowledge that you cannot buy.
And I think describing her as an anchor is like the perfect description, because she has such a presence. And, you know, considering the last 12 months that the Opals as individuals and as a program have had to kind of go through, they need something really anchoring to keep cultivating that culture that they want to get back to. You know, the Opals legacy that Timsy always spoke about, their 7 non-negotiables. Even Timsy said that when she played for the Opals, they were defense first, because she, as you know, paraphrasing Timsy herself, she said they couldn't score, so they had to be defense first. But yeah, having someone like Lauren, who has been, you know, an Olympian so many times, a World Cup champion, to have them, be an anchor, keep everyone grounded, just keep capturing that culture and legacy, and playing next to someone who already holds so much legacy but is now back playing and playing in front of your home crowd. It's going to be a pretty once in a lifetime experience, I think. And I think you're right, Paul. I think they are pretty smart with this squad, forward thinking towards Paris in 2024 as well, because there's so much to take from this experience that they can still cultivate into that next Olympic team as well.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, this is one of the things I'm really liking about what's going on with the Opals at the moment. It's not just let's worry about this competition. It's also looking forward. But I do want to go back to Sammy for a minute now, and I want to ask you, you've been part of this journey of LJ coming back. Do you want to just give us a bit of background into that? Because I'm sure it's a fascinating story.
Yeah, I've been pretty privileged to witness it firsthand. Well, Lauren and I have known each other since we were knee high to a grasshopper. We spent a lot of weekends and that at the Albury Stadium. Our parents involved with the Bandits all the way back then, and then I guess we played mixed basketball at the LJSC last year. Had a lot of fun. Got cut short because of COVID, so we're not sure if we won the championship or not. We did lose a game, but Lauren didn't play that one, so we'll put it down to that. And then just from there, we were just having fun. So we were just shooting around just for fun. Kept doing it. Matt Paps, who's our head coach, he played on the team and just started sort of talking to Lauren. And then I believe some people at her work may have mentioned a few things which sort of ignited the fire. And we just kept shooting around, and then it came to making the decision whether Lauren went from just shooting around and, you know, getting fit to does she play NBL 1? And fortunately, she said yes. And it's all just sort of gone from there, you know. Her trainer, Shannon Pigden, Lauren and I have been going to see him for a long time now. And he's just done a remarkable job on the fitness side. You know, they were working before I even started doing anything. It's phenomenal, the transformation that, you know, physically that Lauren's gone through to get herself ready to play. And then, yeah, we were literally doing 10 minutes of shooting. It was 10 minutes and we were both tired. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't just Lauren. We were both tired. And then we slowly just built up and added layers here and there as Lauren became more and more confident on the court.
I got to say, having watched some of the NBL One East games, one of the things that you notice is there's no denying the basketball IQ, even having been away from the game for so long, is still there. It hasn't gone away. You see the way she moves on the court. It's like she's got that situational awareness. She understands what's going on around the court. How have you found, you know, being a coach on the team and seeing that unfold week by week?
Oh, it started in the mixed basketball. First play, she caught the ball at the top of the key out 3-point line and just drained it. Like, no worries. Everyone just turned around and went, oh, what is this? It's like she hadn't left the WNBA. But yeah, no, the movement patterns and everything like that, as they came back, you could just see, like, it was Lauren getting to the spots that she knew and working from there to now she was just really locked back into her game. Knows where she can get her shot, but is also adding other layers to it to make it a bit better. I mean, not exactly the same as, say, 2010 WNBA, 2012 Olympics, but still it's lethal. It's actually becoming very hard to guard when we work out one-on-one.
And once she made the decision to play NBL One, what did her daily routine and I guess training program look like up to the first round?
Well, it was pretty much, she was working out with Shannon at the gym. It was pretty much every day of the week, depending on her work, etc., and the boys. And then we would be on court maybe it started off at 1 to 2 times a week and built up to maybe 3, sometimes 4. And then that included team trainings. But yeah, there was a lot of the load management as well, you know, so to make sure that everything was okay. So it was, as I said, just built up as we went, you know.
So over the NBL One season, have you noticed an improvement in her game from the first round that she played to where we are now? Absolutely.
I think the highlight for me this year was actually against Norths, and we have one of our plays and Lauren caught it up at the top of the 3-point line and just ripped and went straight to the basket. Now, not many people know she did hurt her or rupture her plantar fascia before the start of the season, a week out from the start of the season, trying to do the same thing. So, yeah, basically that sort of stopped that kind of progression. And then to see that happen, 4 weeks ago, phenomenal. So yeah, there's been a massive improvement just every day, every session. When we go and shoot, you see different things, and we add a different layer here, we add a different layer there, and it's good. It's really good to watch. Like I said, I'm very, very privileged.
So do you think with the opportunity to play against Canada and the US, and the opportunity to kind of do some more scrimmaging overseas with against a different caliber of player, how do you think that's going to help her develop her game? Because let's be honest, the physicality of some of the teams that we're going to be going up against is pretty tough. You know, France, they're a tough team. They've always been a tough team. Serbia tends to play tough as well. How do you think that's going to impact her style of play?
I don't know whether it will actually impact her style of play. I think she thrives on that. All the games, if you've obviously watched the NBL One East, she doesn't shy away from contact. So I feel like, again, every single time she steps on the court, fitness gets better, touch gets better, confidence grows. Not that she lacks confidence. You can't when you're the greatest of all time, as a lot of people call it. I don't think it's going to be an issue, and I think we're going to see a really top-notch performance.
So I'm going to throw this one out there only because it's always one of these ones that kind of gets me. One of our games is against Japan. Now, Japan plays a very fast style of game. How, not just specifically to LJ now, but just with the Opals, we're not as fast. There's no two ways about that. How do you think we're going to be able to match up with that, given what had happened during the friendlies? I mean, they did beat us 2 out of 3 games. To be fair, one of them was pretty close. But how do you guys think that one's going to go?
I'll let you talk, Jacinta.
It's I think comparing the friendlies, against Japan that we saw this year, comparing it to the matchup at the World Cup, I think the Opals are going to be a different team. We were missing the likes of Talbot. I don't think Ezzy played that friendly series, did she?
No.
So we're missing, Talbot, Ezzy, Wally, Sammy Whitcomb. So I feel like I think it'll be completely different, to be honest. And yeah, we probably won't beat them on quickness, but the thing that I took away from the friendlies that were played here in Australia early in the year was that Japan showed their trap a lot, and it actually exposed the Opals' weakness playing against a trap. So that was the thing that I took away the most from that friendlies, is that we struggle against a trap. And I think if any other coach going to the World Cup would be smart enough to watch those games, they would probably know that we also are weak against a trap. So probably a good thing we identified that now, and hopefully that they have been working on that. But at the other side of that, we had the likes of, the guards were like Rochi, Hill, Steph Reed, Tess Madgen. So I think we had our experience, like our emerging Opals coming against, a world-class Japanese trap. But when we go into the World Cup, I'm sure they'll trap us again, but we'll have people like Beck Allen and Sammy and Wally coming straight from the WNBA. We'll have Steph Talbot in the mix. So we'll probably be able to deal with that a lot better. And I think even inside, we'll definitely have a height advantage now because we're huge. But I think that we'll probably play that angle of the game rather than trying to keep up with them in quickness. Yeah, it's going to be kind of like polar opposite strengths in that game, but I think it'll just be totally different to what we saw in the friendlies.
Definitely agree. Not to discredit any of those that played in that.
Oh, no, not at all.
Japan. I know you weren't trying to, but we bring in some pretty high caliber guards, along with Tess who weren't there. Like you highlighted, Beck Allen, Sammy Whitcomb, all those players with a lot of experience. Maylee's going to be not fresh off the plane. She'll be worked into the system. I think we've got some really good versatility in our bigs. Kayla is very good stepping out. So you can have Lauren and Tolo inside, and then you can have Garvin and Blixarves and Kayla stepping out, stretching the floor a bit. Lauren can stretch the floor, I think we have a lot of versatility, and again, we'll be ready for pretty much everything that they throw at us defensively. Like you said, teams will go to the press, but we probably know it's coming.
And I think as well, comparing the two squads, the squad going to the World Cup have got probably a longer playing history with each other. So Kayla and Tolo have played with each other since they were at the AIS.
And Tess as well.
And Tess as well. And then Tess Kayla and Ezzy play together, you know, in the Boomers winning the last WNBL championship. And then you've got, Ezzy and Steph played together. Sammy and Beck have just coming back playing together. And I'm pretty sure LJ has played. I can't remember if LJ had played with Tolo at the Caps one season. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she would have.
Yeah. So we've got those kind of sneaky, 2-3 combinations that can be slotted together. I think that will work in our favor as well, compared to the squad in the friendlies.
So do you guys reckon that by not having the trial games over in the States televised or live streamed in any way, it's given us an opportunity to get a bit of a workout without giving away effectively game film to the opposition?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe Sammy's best to answer that as a coach.
Look, everybody knows in those games you're trying things out, particularly when there's a focus on, they had to make the 3 cuts to come down to the squad. But yeah, it does highlight what the basic structures and stuff are that you're going to utilize. But I don't know whether there was any rhyme or reason behind it. But we haven't given away any secrets, have we?
No.
Apart from some small little bits of footage that just showed LJ doing LJ things, in the post.
I think one of the other things that's really positive about the team is the amount of international experience that the players have got, that they're coming back in with. So, we've got quite a few players who've been in the WNBA, so there's going to be a lot of experience in playing against people who are going to be in the US team. And I think that and the international experience from Europe that some of the players have is going to help to build up the ability of the squad to be able to compete against some of these teams, because we, particularly with COVID, we just haven't had the amount of international trial games that maybe in years gone by we would have had.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that they were saying, I think at the start of the year, I think when we interviewed Kayla, was that the end of last year, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kayla, I think it was Kayla saying that there was a plan to play at least 15 trial games internationally leading into the World Cup. I don't know if they probably got quite to 15, but the fact that they had the friendlies here, and they did organise, that big camp overseas, that already made me feel a little bit more relaxed with the preparation compared to Tokyo. Yeah,
agreed. I guess, you hit the nail on the head. It's hard these days with travel and schedules, and Europe's such a long season. The WM then flows basically straight into the WNBA, or they overlap this year in some cases. So it does make it hard to get those squads together, and I think they've done a good job of working to the restrictions that people have, and being able to really sound out, I guess, their best 12 across the games that they did play.
Yeah, I think there's one other factor for this World Cup, and that is there's a lot of unfinished business from the Olympics. I know when we spoke to Tolo and Kayla, it was really obvious that from their perspective, there's unfinished business there with the Opals. And I think that's going to help to fire the team up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably no hiding it. It was a missed opportunity. They had a good squad. What happened will always put them off. It rocked them. And, the performances that they put in, given the adversity that they faced, were, you've got to look at it in that sort of, frame it that way too. They did a pretty impressive job given the adversity, So yeah, I think there is that fire in the belly. Excuse me. There's new additions. There's an old addition being brought back. So it's a good mix. It's an exciting mix. And yeah, I can't wait for the 22nd of September.
No, I don't think any of us can. Now, we're going just before we do wind up our first live episode. Two things. First of all, do you think that we're going to see LJ in the WNBL this upcoming season?
Yes. Quick answer, yes.
Yeah, I reckon yes as well. And then obviously
you'd love to see it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and then the next big question is, where would she wash up?
Southside.
Southside?
Yep. That's my guess. That's my guess based on having a nerdy basketball think about it, based on some sneaky sources. All signs are pointing to Southside.
Okay. Well, I tend to agree with you on that one. For a couple of reasons. Most of the other teams have got a large proportion of their squad settled down. And if you look at Southside, their first season at Southside, they went all out. And so I think if there's a team that's got the ability to be able to get LJ in, it's either them or the other one that's a possibility is Bendigo. Right? And the only reason I'm saying Bendigo is Bendigo's not as far from Albury.
Hey.
Right.
They're about the same.
They're about the same. But look, they're the two teams that I think I could see if she's back in the WNBL. And let's be honest, we'd all like to see her in the WNBL.
Look, don't discount. There's a long history with Veely now that she's taken over the Caps.
Yeah, that's true.
So just little things to think about here and there. But I don't know. Yeah, honestly, don't know.
We're all taking the wild guesses here, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just put our blindfold on and throw some darts.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last point, and I know it's kind of really, really early on in the piece. How far do you think the Opals are going to go? I'm going to go right out there and say, I reckon they're going to be in the gold medal game.
Whew.
Yep.
We.
I was going to say podium finish for sure. For sure, podium finish.
Yep.
Yep.
Sam?
Yeah, I definitely think we have the squad to medal. I think just as we've highlighted, the depth that we've got, the energy from the rookies, the energy from the season, they all bring a different type of energy that I think will mesh and really drive us forward. And then there's that fire as well from Tokyo, 100%. And the home crowd. You cannot underestimate the power of the home crowd. So yeah, I think we're definitely going to the medal rounds. I really hope it is the gold medal game.
Yep.
But look, we can't get too far ahead of ourselves.
Spoken like a true coach.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm 100% focused on winning the East right now.
Yes. Yeah. So, go for it.
Yeah, we've got a couple of weeks to go, and then I'll switch to. Oh, actually, maybe if we win, we'd switch to nationals, and then it's the World Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, and our producer Mary has just come up and asked, "What's the game that you're most looking forward to seeing?"
Good one, Mary.
Let
me just look.
Let me look at the draw again.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say I really want to see Australia and Japan. I actually really like watching Japan play. They got a great style of play, and I think with this squad, it's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah, my instinct. So I just had to check the draw and the tickets and stuff. But I'm going to go with my instinct. The matchup I'm most looking forward to is Australia and Serbia, because it's going to be an arm wrestle. Like, it's going to be a real test for the Opals' toughness and their ability to stay composed, like, in that tough environment, because Serbia are just, relentless defensively, physically. So it'll be a real test for the Opals to make sure that they stay composed, to stick into their game plan to get that win, because that could be a sneaky, that game could really creep up on them. So that's the matchup that I'm most looking forward to, I think, especially in the rounds.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the rounds. France and Serbia, for me, like everything that Jacinta said with Serbia. Then France is just that next level of quality, aren't they? So I think they're two really crucial games. But I'll be honest, I'm just excited to watch all the games.
Yeah.
They're just the best players are going to be in Australia. Even on the other side, I'm keen to see USA versus Belgium.
Me too.
A cracker.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
an absolute cracker.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, we're going to get some really good pool games, and then think about the crossovers later on. Like, how lucky are we?
Yeah, well, it's obvious nobody is going to be at work for those 2 weeks.
That's absolutely true.
Right, Sydney will just shut down. Everybody's going to be at home bush.
And I probably should have taken more days off work after the World Cup. I've already started to prep my workmates. This is what's happening from the 22nd of September. When I come back to work, I'm going to be in a low mood. I'm going to be overcoming something awesome that has just finished. So just give me a couple of days to adjust back to normal life, okay? So I would have spent 2 weeks living in the perfect basketball fantasy land. Then I have to go back to regular life. Yeah. But I also just wanted to say, I think, going back from what Sammy said about the current Opal squad and how we've got a good mix of young and old, I think this is probably one of the most unique Opals teams we've seen in a while too, because of that mix of young and old, the mix of experience, the mix of like the caliber as well. I think it's probably one of the first squads. Oh, I might be really going out on a limb here saying this, but probably one of the first squads where we've had so many WNBA players, or so many players who have played at a high level since a young age. Because, I mean, it's Tess Madgen's 32nd birthday today, and it's Ezzy's 23rd birthday tomorrow. And Ezzy is someone who I feel like has played at the top level for the last decade, and she's only 23.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, and let's be honest, her defensive efforts for Seattle this season have been just out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, she's averaging 1.8 blocks per game, 5.7 rebounds and 10 points for Seattle. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
At 23, on a really competitive team. They've I mean, they could have a good run in the finals. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Would love to see that for Sue. But yeah, we've just got some really good wild cards. I think that's the way I would put it, wild cards. Again, I'll go back to Christy Wallace. Awesome story, playing well. I really hope to see her have a big World Cup. I think Annalie Maley, she's one of those ones, like she's a reigning MVP of the WNBL. She's, was unlucky over at Chicago with the WNBA, I just feel like there's a lot of players riding high and a lot of confidence right now. And then, I went through and had a look at the stats of all the players, across the NBL 1 competitions that they're in, and they are putting up some phenomenal numbers.
Yeah.
I think Kayla's had 3 or 4 triple doubles for Cairns. Tess Madgen, I could just run them all off. They're all just killing it. So yeah, there's just a good vibe. It's the vibe of the thing,
Yeah. Lots of confidence and lots of people kind of hitting their stride at the right time.
Yeah.
Awesome. And we've managed to make it to the end of the show without you having to dash off, Sammy.
Yeah, no, we're lucky there. Yeah, we're very lucky there. So the wife's got the bell or the dinger ready to let me know if anything goes wrong. And we'll be out the door and off we go.
Baby bag packed?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. It's an awkward situation with due date the day after the grand final. But
But you could have a championship and a new baby in one weekend.
That would be amazing. But
yeah.
Albury's a long way from Sydney.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks so much for coming on and, this first live episode that we've done. And, hopefully if we get good feedback, we'll do a few more of these because it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
Appreciate the invite. I've loved it.
Sammy, it was great. And, you're always welcome back. And, if not, I'm sure we'll catch up at the World Cup somewhere along the way. And thanks very much, everyone, for listening into the show.
Thank you. Oh, make sure you tune in and watch us tomorrow night. It's going to be a packed house. It's something you guys really need to see on your tellies.
Oh, absolutely. And don't forget, 50 seats. If you can make it,
That's right. 50 seats.
Aubrey to win for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Okay, and we're off from broadcasting.
Excellent.